So I think, as we were looking at preparing the materials for the application to the Foundry, we were not entirely clear about the purpose of the video, but I think in the processing that we've done, we're hoping that this allows us to get some of the ideas behind our project to you guys. Information that won't show up in the MOCR, in the application process, potentially anywhere else. So we want to talk a little bit about our background, let you guys know kind of where we come from, where we feel the expertise comes from, our experiences. We'll talk a little bit about the mission of Deeper Learning Consulting and an overview of the project as it stands right now, and then we'll talk to you a little bit about why we think that the Foundry is a place that we're drawn to, and to the results that we're looking for getting out of the Foundry experience.
Sounds great. So just as a quick introduction, my name's Dave Dinhartog, and this is Dirk Matthias, and we are both educators and people who have been in education for quite a few years now. We have had different roles throughout education, both in the teaching realm and the administration realm, in consulting, working with schools, helping to both create and try to transform existing schools. And so our background really leads to the work that we're interested in, which is to take some of our understanding about really high quality education and work with international schools and helping them develop and move forward in their practice with their teachers and with their leaders. We've partnered and worked together with schools throughout the United States in doing this work, and also both have some experience with schools internationally, but look at and feel like that there's a lack of support for some of those international schools to make some of the strides forward that we're able to do with schools here in the United States.
As Dave mentioned, we have a little bit of background in the international schools. I taught in the international schools for a long time in Latin America. We're currently in a conversation, kind of very initial phases, with a person who coordinates professional development for international schools in the Middle East. We work closely with several colleagues who have done work like the work that we're proposing overseas with a lot of success. It's really resonated with the international schools that they've been in contact with in China and India and in Brazil. And we just see this as it's the work that we're doing in the States, bringing it to an international school audience seems to really connect with the people who are being exposed to this, with being exposed to the kind of work that we do right now, and we just see it as really fertile ground for kind of branching out. The other thing that we're kind of interested in, both of us have been in education reform since we started in education maybe 30 years ago or so. We've been looking at education reform in the United States, and the network that we work most closely with, Expeditionary Learning Schools, is really has at the core its mission, has the core of its mission the reform of education, of public education in the United States. It's difficult work because of a number of reasons: the level of funding, the community buy-in, all of these things. We're curious to see with the international schools where they're well funded, really have only their stakeholders to answer to, what progressive education and progressive educational model could look like in a school that doesn't necessarily have some of the brakes on it that a normal public school in the United States does. So we're looking at bringing really kind of humane assessment practices that engage students and the teachers in their learning, and kind of create these create centers of learning where the the person who's doing the learning has a seat at the table with the design of with the educational experience that they're having. It's kind of the work that we do in the States with schools, and we are interested in moving it overseas, which kind of brings us, I think, maybe to the Foundry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with that in mind, in this idea of really helping teachers and school leaders to think about this deeper learning and what that means. We have some, I think, great background and experience, and I think we have a good direction and mission and even connections. But what the Foundry, I think, could help provide for us is more input and support and fine-tuning ideas and things that we're thinking of. I think that another element is the whole the business component in creating a new business. It's something that we're not familiar with. I mean, we help leaders to develop their own business structures, but frankly, that's just not our expertise. Mm-hmm. And so getting the different viewpoints and ideas from people in the Foundry to help us think through key components of what that could look like, I think could be super, super helpful for us. And I mean, that's, I think, just touching the iceberg. I think there could be all kinds of things helping us to refine our mission, think about our marketing strategy, thinking about
like our financial plan, how we approach schools,
exactly.
And what's the funding structure for our services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's a wide variety of areas that through the colleagues and people that we meet through the Foundry could be something beneficial, and that's frankly why we're applying, and hopefully can be part of the new cohort.
All right, thanks you guys.
Thanks.